Hello, hello. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Good to have you here with me. We're going to go live on Facebook too. Hope everyone's good this morning or this afternoon. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm watching Facebook for questions and comments as well. We'll be ready to start here in just a second. Well, a little bit of a delay there. Okay. All right. Well, welcome Remaxers to this quick start extended booj edition. That's right. We do these generally once a month on the booj edition, but for those of you that are brand new to Remax, this is especially for you, but it's also for everyone. The more the merrier. So this quick start is to help you get set up and started on the booj platform that we have here at Remax, which is your CRM, your websites, and more. So welcome. My name is Michelle Hoyt. I am Manager of Education and Development here at remax INTEGRA. remax INTEGRA is an independent region of Remax LLC. So if you're joining us from one of the other regions, I welcome you as well. We all use booj across the country, the majority of us. And this is a great way to just kind of dive in, roll up our sleeves, and let's get started with the booj platform. Now, earlier this month, on November 4th to be particular or specific, we did a quick start version that involved all of the Remax tools. So please check that out on the Remax INTEGRA YouTube channel. It is available there. And it's again from November 4th. So that's where we covered more things into Max Center, Design Center, and some of the other features in the Remax toolbox. So this is all about booj. That's right. So in case you didn't know what booj is, if you're new to Remax, it stands for Be Original or Jealous. And it's going to be our full end-to-end platform where you get your remax.com leads, where you can manage them, where you can set up your website. It's so many things that are happening out there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and make sure that we can get started. So if you're following along with me, just go ahead and grab your laptop and we'll be ready to go. So let me go ahead and get that ready. I'll share my screen. And there we go. So again, welcome all of you. So if you pay attention to the control panel that you've got right there in the bottom of your screen, you can ask me questions. You can definitely chat in the chat box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. But those of you on Facebook, I'll be watching those questions also. So we want to get you started. We want you to be successful with the booj platform. Okay, so one of the first things you need to do, of course, is to get to booj. How do you do that? You go to Max Center. So remax.net is where you're going to go. By the way, this session is being recorded. It will be posted on the Remax INTEGRA YouTube channel. And then hello again to those of you on Facebook just joining us. So Max Center is where it all begins, right? And Max Center is remax.net. But before we do that, here's what we need to do. We need to talk about the mobile aspect of this. I'm going to have you do a couple of things on your mobile device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my mobile phone and we're going to talk a little bit about how to use this particular platform on your mobile device to its fullest extent. There's a couple of different ways that you can do this. So you can either do this from Max Center or you can do this in the booj CRM mobile app. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get logged in and pull up my phone on the screen and help you out with that. Okay. All right. So in just a moment, you should see my mobile phone on the screen. And we should be ready to go. So here's what I want to talk to you about. When you're out and about, which is going to be a lot, although I know we're under a lot of limitations right now, but you're going to be running your business virtually most of the time. And to get to Max Center and to get to all of the tools, especially booj, the full desktop version of booj, which we're going to go through today, you really want to be able to access this from mobile. Now, if you've looked for an app called Max Center, it does not exist. So in case you're wondering, it does not exist. It's not for iPhone only. It's not for Android only. It just doesn't exist. Here's what you can do at this time. Maybe it will down the road, but at this time, what you can do is you can actually set up what's called a mobile shortcut. Now you can do this on both iPhone and Android. I am showing an iPhone on the screen right now. Now you'll see in the bottom row here of my apps, or what looks like my apps, there's this red and blue X that says Max Center. So when I click on this, it's going to take me to Max Center, just like you would see on desktop. I would get logged in and everything's good. Now the reason it looks this way is that I set up a mobile shortcut. Here's what you need to do. On your mobile phone, the native browser is what you need to go to. So on iPhone, it's Safari. On Android, it's Chrome. So it's that easy. So even if you use Chrome on your iPhone, you really need to do this on Safari. Safari is the icon right here that's got the blue dial with the red and white arrow. You want to click here and you want to actually type in remax.net just like you would on your desktop. So remax.net, and then I've already set up my password, and I'm going to go ahead and get that all set up right here. So you would use your same credentials to log in here as exactly you would on your desktop. Well, here's what's great about it. Look how it's all the same thing I would see on desktop. All of my applications, all of my tools are here, but it's mobile responsive. Up here in the top left corner is where I get to my menu to all the other things I want to normally see inside of Max Center. So I click on apps, and here's what's great. So it will actually, again, make it mobile responsive. I can get to all of my applications from here, especially the booj one. Now we're going to talk about the booj CRM mobile app and what you have access to on that particular mobile app. But in that instance, there are going to be some limitations. The full desktop version can be accessed this way through making Max Center available on your mobile device. Now, what do you do to make it a shortcut? So you don't even have to be logged in, by the way. So if you're struggling to try to get logged in or need to look up your password, you can go back and do that later. But all you need to do essentially is this. When you hover down to the bottom of your screen on an iPhone, there is this symbol. It's a square with an arrow pointing upward. So you click here, and what you're going to do is you're going to now move this screen up, and do you see where it says add to home screen? So add to home screen, and now this is going to be called Max Center. Now, if you have an Android and you're using Chrome, in the top right corner, there's 3 little dots. Click on those, and it'll give you a drop-down menu that'll also say add to home screen. So you're going to click that, and it'll do exactly the same thing. So back to iPhone, we're going to click add. And what it's going to do is, obviously I've done this a few times for training, it's going to drop this at the end of your apps that you have on your screen. And now it looks just like that, but it's actually a mobile shortcut. Once again, you can click to open it up and get logged in, and you're ready to go. So in my case, I've already got my login stored, and it plugs it all in, and it'll log me right back in. And now I can get to everything. I can even update my profile. I can get to Design Center. I can get to everything on here. So hopefully this is going to be helpful to you. Here's a little tech tip for those of you that are iPhone users and Android. I'm sorry, once again, you may have to look up how to do this, or maybe you know how to do this. If you want to store your passwords, there is a setting on your phone so that you don't have to continually enter your information, because you don't memorize typically your passwords these days, especially if they're longer. What you want to do is you want to click on where it says settings. So in settings, then there's also a feature, and by the way, hopefully you've updated your iPhone to the latest updates, so it looks similar to mine. But what you want to do is go down here to this section right here. You're going to keep scrolling, and it says passwords. So on iPhone, you're going to find the passwords icon, and then you're going to click on it. Now, what I want to do is you want to actually find this feature that says autofill passwords. And when I click here, make sure this toggle is turned over so this is green. And the keychain is an Apple term, but this is going to allow filling in my Safari browser on my Apple device. This will save all my passwords as I enter them. This will make your life a lot easier for a lot of different things, because we're going to talk about the booj CRM mobile app here in just a second. But that is something that you can really enjoy. Now, if you want to set up Chrome on an iPhone, you can do that as well. But for those of you on Android, please look up the instructions on how to autofill and save passwords on your Chrome on your mobile device. So just a little tech tip for you. Now, while we're still on the mobile device, let's go ahead and have you download the booj CRM mobile app. Now, if you attended the Quick Start a couple of weeks ago, you may have already done this, but really quick, I just want to show you. The booj CRM mobile app is available in the App Store and Google Play Store. And the booj CRM mobile app looks like this. It's actually navy, and it's got sort of a white teardrop right here. So go ahead and find that. It's called the booj CRM mobile app. You will find that again in the Google Play Store, the App Store. You will need to use your remax.net credentials, your Mac Center credentials, to log into this platform, okay? So that is something that you'll definitely need to do. So you need to look those up again. Then you can resave your password or do whatever it is you need to do. So on the booj CRM mobile app, that's what's available there. I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk about this a little later and make sure that you can access your leads and that information too. But I want you to have the booj CRM mobile app so that you can access and see some of the, you can see your contact records, you can do all of that, but you will sign in for that particular area. Okay, so that's the booj CRM mobile app. Do the same steps where you just download it, except you don't have to set it up as a mobile shortcut. So we'll get logged into that in just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the screen. We're going to go back to the desktop. So I'm just going to take a quick peek. I don't see any questions or comments. Let me know if that was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the desktop as long as you're okay then. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the most important step in getting started with booj, and that is your profile. So you have a profile featured across the entire Remax tools and technology, but it all starts in Mac Center. So you should be logged into Mac Center. Now my screen might look a little bit different than yours. It may look something like this or whatever the case is, but we're going to go to our profile. So we're going to go over here to the top right corner. You're going to find your photo, and then you're going to click on Update Profile. Now this is a really important section. We did cover this on the previous Quick Start, but it's important to kind of revisit again. This profile is very important for a lot of reasons. It actually serves two different audiences. It will display to both the Remax agents in the entire network for referrals, and it will also display to consumers. This will display on remax.com. This will display on office websites, your very own agent website. And for those of you that are teams, it will also be on your team website. So this is front facing. And that's why it's even more important than ever to make sure you look the best that you possibly can. So what we're going to start with is you're going to have actually your particular information here. Make sure all of this is correct. If your office address is incorrect for any reason whatsoever, please see the administrators in your office or your broker owner, and they can help you with that. Okay, so that's not something you will necessarily be able to correct. Now, as far one number to pay very close attention to is each and every one of you has a unique ID number in the Remax system. See right here under your name where it says Remax ID number. This is yours. You actually need this to sign up for PhotoFi and some of the other very cool shiny apps we have in Remax. So this is your number. So pay attention to that. All right, let's keep moving down here. On your profile, where do you want your emails to get forwarded to? Keep in mind the remax.net username that you have been assigned by Remax is simply for vanity purposes and forwarding. So you can use this remax.net on your business cards. You can use it on signs, your for sale signs. You can use it wherever you want for branding, but there's no true inbox for this, right? So essentially what you're going to need to do is make sure this forwards to your primary email. So make sure that primary email is exactly right. Now I'm going to test account. So mine says something that yours will say Gmail, yours will say Yahoo or something like that. But whatever your primary email is, it should show here. If you need to change it at any time, you want to click edit, go in here and make sure you edit that to go to the proper forwarding email. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that out. The next thing is, so we were under general info before or profile overview before. So there's a couple different places you can go. So let's kind of work our way down the row really quick. Under general info, this is pretty simple. Again, just your join date and all of that. Contact information. This is going to be really important because you're going to need to feature your social media. Remember, this is going to feed over to the block that we will add later on to your website. that talks about who you are and all about you. So again, it's really important to have a social presence. This is important to consumers. This is important to the other agents in the network. This will display to them as well. So fill in the appropriate social channels by copying and pasting your URLs directly to your profile on these different locations. Here's some of the others you can do. You can actually add right here all these different social channels. Sorry, no TikTok, no Snapchat in here, maybe down the road, but Twitter, you know, all these, the more popular ones. I would say at the bare minimum, please try to do Facebook and LinkedIn because those are going to be the most popular lead generating platforms. You'll also network with other agents, and the business end of it is really incredible. Okay, you also want to include this in the web directory. What that means is the referral directory. So that means it will display. Once you get your website set up, we're going to look at that, what your domain looks like and where you're going to grab it from. You'll come back to this section and you will add your agent website domain. Again, this will show on remax.com so consumers can get directly to you. This will show on the referral directory also. Your phone numbers, of course, need to be put in here properly. Your photo is everything. It's your calling card, right? First impressions are everything. So make sure this is a high resolution professional headshot. Sorry, but selfies don't count. If that's just temporary, if you just need to get a picture on there, then so be it. But have someone help you out. Take a nice picture of yourself or have someone take a picture of you with your smartphone if you have to get started, but with some nice Remax branding. Professional looking headshot is always the best approach and best impressions. So what you want to do on these photos, though, there are specifications on sizes and the quality of them. So if you put a photo in that's too small, like let's say you grab a screenshot of, or you crop yourself out of a picture that you really like how you look in that picture and you're with a group of people, but when you start cropping, it really reduces the size. And then it's going to look pixelated or grainy, and you don't want that. And I don't want that for you either. So what you want to do is you want to actually be somewhere between 1 and 5 megabytes. That's a really large photo. It's high resolution, it's high quality. It's definitely what you want to be using across the board for all of your online profiles. So upload that photo, get it in there. Now, by the way, some of these updates you're doing to your profile, it might take a day or so to get them to actually update. But this is really important because if you went to your profile and there was a balloon instead of your face, then you definitely want to make sure you're adding your photo here. Under your professional details, I'm going to give you, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of homework today, by the way, quite a bit actually. Add your license number. This is important, especially for those of you in states that it is required that you display your license number, which I think is generally across the country. Most of you have that requirement. Put your license number in here. Your specialties. This is so important, especially if you've gone through, even if most of you are new to Remax watching this at this time, and if you're not, that's perfectly fine too. But even if you're coming from another company, it's important that you showcase your specialties. You deserve that credibility. You deserve that, the work that you put in to get to that place. If you're brand new to real estate, that's okay. You will get there, I promise you. But when it comes to your specialties, this is where you can go in and there's actually a number of categories that you can type in under these different here. So if you're into investors, there's even specialties like horse properties and things like that. Make sure you add those on here so that the other Remax agents in the network can see that. That does not display to consumers. You can talk about that in your bio to consumers, but this is important because other Remax agents will be looking to send you business, and this type of specialty, those type of specialties could really help you get more residual income. It's awesome. Designations should be listed here as well. Now, your office service areas will show a certain number of cities. Your office controls that. You will not control that. But under additional service areas, this will be where do you specialize in. Now, what this means, these service areas, we're going to talk about leads. So it's important that you set yourself up to get leads. So when you're setting up service areas, if someone goes on remax.com, type in a city name and they look for agents, that means you will show up if you're listed under those particular service areas. Now, by default, you all show up when someone does a city search for your office. So that's just a default setting. So let's say that you're located in Boston And you need to add, though, the specific suburbs or other cities around the Boston metro area that you specialize in, okay? Same thing with other markets, Indianapolis, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, wherever you're from, list your service areas. You should be able to do at least 5 or 6. Put them in here so that, again, it's called out on your profile to get business. And then you can also talk about that in your bio too. What are your, if you do commercial activities, list those. Prior affiliations, this, if you want to talk about where you've been before, that's certainly your option. Okay. Personal details. This is your homework. Write your story, because this does show to everyone. This shows to the agents in the network. This shows to consumers. This is your bio. Now make it a lot longer than what I did here, but this should be about you, why you got into real estate, who you are, what your background is. If you want to talk about your family, that's certainly your option. I give back to the community. I volunteer. When I'm not working, I can be found camping and fishing. So talk about you as a human being. You don't have to recite your resume or how many homes you've sold or your volume or your award levels are really important, and they're highly regarded and respected here at REMAX. Consumers don't necessarily know what that means. So they need to translate your experience, how it would translate on the other end to a consumer that you have experience, but more importantly, they want to know what's in it for them if they work for you, work with you. So that's what's important, is to talk about that. List your educational background. If you have any secondary education, post high school or anything, feel free. Civic activities. This is also very important. Again, could really set you up for those residual income referrals. And when you have a connection with someone they're trying to refer, maybe you share the same passion for a certain organization or charity. So add as many of those that interest you. Children's Miracle Network is the charity that REMAX is affiliated with for many years at this point. So if you want to at least add Children's Miracle Network. Your hobbies, it's the same thing. These are talking points. These are bonding opportunities for you to connect with others in the network. And then, of course, languages. You can be searched on the referral directory by languages that you speak. This is really important. You must fill this out before you can start using your website, or you need to make sure this is filled out before you start using your website in the booj system, in order to have IDX and to have all of that set up so that you can use the features that it's intended for. So your MLS affiliation should show that it's active or live, as it says. So in this case, it'll say live. If you don't see anything here, then you need to put in a ticket to our support team. I'll show you exactly how to do that and where to find that, but it's maxhelpsyou.com. So under the MLS affiliation, so if you don't see anything there, actually, I'll just go ahead and do this. I'll put in the chat box. I'll just type in where you go to. So you can send an email address to support@remaxintegra.com. Okay. Support@remaxintegra.com. For those of you at REMAX INTEGRA, if you're not in the INTEGRA regions, you can contact product support@remax.com. But what you need to do is make sure that there's an MLS feed active here. Now, some of you might be members of more than one MLS, so you can get the support team's assistance on getting both of those set up. But the broker level has set up their MLS, and now it's up to you to kind of have yours active here too. So again, make sure it shows live. Now, you can also try adding it yourself. So see right here, you can also, let's say that you're coming from another brand over to REMAX and you have active listings in the MLS right now. You can actually search for your code by looking up by listing ID. So you just put in a listing ID of one of your active listings. It'll pull that information in and get this all set up for you. Okay, so there's just a couple different ways to go about it. Under the awards levels, this is where you can actually, for those of you that are brand new to real estate, something to strive for, but take a look at these amazing award levels that you can achieve in your career. And I know you can, so there's quite a bit to strive for here. So this will just kind of give you some idea and show that. Again, that doesn't show to consumers, that shows to the REMAX network. So let me know if there's any questions on that. Again, we went through this exercise because this is all going to feed over to your website. All right. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about support. I did mention that we have a portal at REMAX INTEGRA called Max Helps You. And I'll probably have to go in a different way here, but you should have an app in yours. I'm in my demo account. You should have inside of your Max Center that says maxhelpsyou.com. I'll just show you quickly what it looks like. It's also a separate domain. So let's say one of your issues is you can't log into Mac Center. You can go outside of the system and type in maxhelpsyou.com, or you can email support, as we mentioned earlier, and you can submit a request. If you're having an issue, for instance, with logging in, or you're seeing error messages, or maybe something's not displaying right, whatever the issue is, don't hesitate at all to reach out to our support team. We have 5 full-time individuals, 5 as of this week, 5 full-time individuals that are there to support you on all of your technology and tools here at Remax INTEGRA. They're located in Central Indiana. They're live human beings. They're employees of Remax INTEGRA, so they're not consultants. They work and know all of the tools and everything about Remax. So that works out really good. Fill out your request or your issue, include screenshots, whatever details you can provide. This will open up a dialogue with you and that support specialist. So just know you can go to them for pretty much anything. Also inside of Max Helps You, there's a knowledge base. So you would go down here and click on US Knowledge Base. And this will show you all these frequently asked questions and articles and things and how to get set up. You know, some of the other apps that we talked about, Photofy and stickers and all these fun things. There's a lot of answers for what you need right here. So all you have, there's design center questions. So, and here's all the articles on booj that have been added here, just step-by-step things to help you get those questions answered. So it works out really good. They put in the most frequently asked questions in here. And if you don't see what you need here, you can always ask them. You can ask those questions. Okay, that's what they're there for. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. So let's just talk really quickly about, so we talked about Max Center, but let's get into the booj platform now. Let's talk about contacts and how important this is to everything that you're going to be doing. So before we talk about importing contacts, let's talk a little bit about remax.com leads. So remax.com leads will come directly into your booj CRM. That is how you will get them. This would be your listing leads. This would be if someone asks for information on a non-Remax listing. This will be all of that comes into here. Your office website, your individual website, those leads feed right into the booj platform. We'll talk about how you can get other leads into there. But just so you know, at remax.com, you have 1 hour to accept leads that you get texted to you. There will be a link that'll say accept or decline. There's also an email that goes out. You have 1 hour. After that, it gets re-offered every 15 minutes to agents that have also signed up for that zip code. And this is true of your own listings. So there's always urgency behind those leads. We want you to get those listing leads. You get them. And then after that, it becomes, it's a race, if you would. But make sure you're accepting those as quickly as you can. Even if you're too busy, just accept those so you don't miss out, because we don't want you to. Now, when you open up the booj platform, we'll touch more on leads as we go through this. When you open up this platform, some of you might just be getting started, so you're in what's called Setup Wizard. So you need to accept the terms, and then you're going to go through 3 or 4 or 5 screens where it's going to ask you to fill in information. I encourage you, if you're following along with me, just click next or continue on each and every one of those screens. And I'm going to show you how to get back to that, because we're going to go to your notifications right now and your settings. Okay, so power through those screens if you're just in the initial Setup Wizard. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go right to those same settings that you just powered through. And you're going to go up here to the top and you're going to click settings. And let's talk about how to get all of this set up. All right, so we're going to go to settings and then settings pages. And then we're going to click on contacts and leads, because we want to make sure we want to get you set up for leads. That's most important. So what you want to do then is click where it says notifications. I would recommend that you check all these boxes. So what this means is whenever there's any events going on with your contacts and leads, you will be notified. There's different methods that you'll be notified, but this way you won't miss out on something very, very important. So first of all, the booj CRM mobile app, it does not have push notifications enabled as of yet. So this is brand new technology, but it's very exciting. They're getting ready to release those here in the near future. So meanwhile, though, I would go ahead and check off these boxes here. So what this is going to do is tell the system when those push notifications get enabled that you are going to be getting those on your app that you have on your phone. Now you want to get email notifications as well. It never hurts to have a backup. I know the last thing you need is more emails, but this is going to also make sure that you get notified whenever these different things happen. We'll talk through what each of these are. This part right here is grayed out. So you're always going to be notified on desktop. So the web means the desktop, exactly what you're looking at right now on the screen. You will get those notifications right here where the little bell is, or these other areas, and then text message. You'll notice not every event has text message attached to it, or can you receive via text message. So typically it's just brand new leads, and that's okay. So you'll get those text messages, but it's good because that helps you grab those really quickly. As we mentioned, you have 1 hour to accept those, but you got to make sure you get those right away and you get them by text, and then you start the process from there and follow up from there. So that's a good thing. Let's talk through a couple of these. Now, a contact can be referred or transferred to you. We're talking about remax referrals. If you send business to or get business from another remax agent in the US, you actually can go into your booj contact record of that person you're sending them, and you can transfer it to them or basically share with them. They can do the same thing with you. So you have that conversation, you work out a referral with another agent in another state, then you can then ask them, could you please share that contact record with me from your booj account? I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But when that happens, you get notified. In this case, you get notified by email and then coming soon in the app as well. Okay, so you'll get notified. So if a contact or lead has been shared with you, it's right along those same lines, but typically it's going to be a referral. PBA, a preferred buyer's agent. Now, when a consumer registers on remax.com, remember I talked about those lead rules, you get an hour to accept it. A consumer can actually choose which remax agent they want to work with. Okay, so when they're registering, they actually can do that. When they're registering or really doing any type of activity, let me just show you really quick. They can choose who they want to work with. So it's consumer's choice, which is how it should be, right? So we'll go to remax.com. Let me just type this in. There we go. And I'll just search for a listing. I'll just type in a zip code. I'll just find one locally here, and we'll just open this up. And here's what a consumer does, or what they can do. So they can either, if they search randomly and then they click on a certain listing and ask for information, if it's a remax listing, it's going to go direct to the listing agent. If they click on a non-remax listing, it'll go to whoever it is to get a lead and that zip code, which we're going to talk about setting those up. If I click on this, now I'm incognito, so this should work. And if I click right here, let me just accept these cookies. All right, so if I want to inquire about this property, let's just see, I want to make sure who it's listed with. Okay, this is good. I didn't want a remax listing. So we're going to click contact. So now you actually they go through a registration process, and as they're registering, it will actually give them an option to sign up to work with a certain agent. So they can also do a search by agent. So right here, and they can immediately choose to work with that agent. So if I just type in a name, excuse me, I'll just type in someone here where I'm located. They can do first name or last name. So when I click this profile, it's going to open up this agent profile, and then this is what will populate when they go to work with this agent. When you're a preferred buyer's agent, what ends up happening is you get the highest of hierarchies when it comes to contact information and activity. So you'll be able to see searches, you'll be able to see all these different things that they're doing, which is pretty amazing, right? So that's something to pay attention to. But when someone actually chooses you, but then updates it to a different agent, you would get notified. So that kind of works out, I guess, both ways. So if that happens, that's a good time to ask them, hey, how's it going? And you disconnected with them. So that's something happened along the way. So they didn't want to work with you anymore, and that's not good. But they do get a choice. If a contact or lead deletes their remax.com registration account, the one they sign in with and then choose an agent, I know I couldn't go through the process right here, would have taken too long. But ultimately, if they delete their record or delete their account, you get notified, but it does not remove them from your CRM, from your database. Okay, so just so you know, if you get notified of that, that's another one of those events where you want to reach out and just ask how things are going. So obviously you want to be careful with these type of information, but make sure that you're paying attention to it. when a lead is assigned to you. So your office can actually assign leads to you, and your team leader can assign leads to you manually. So if leads come into the office website, and let's say that it's also your listing leads get assigned to you directly as well, in that whenever they don't have a preferred buyer's agent. So when a lead gets offered to you or gets assigned to you, that's what these are, as text messages. And you can import and export contacts into this system, and you can be notified of that. So I know that sounds like a lot. We just walked through all that, but it's important that you know what's going on in your database so that these tools will help you and keep you engaged with that. So let's talk a little bit about tags. So tags are categories. So this is where you can have a lot of fun, and you can come up with your own categories, or I guess you could say different groups that you want to set up in your database, because the database is yours. It's only as good as the information you put into it and how you want to categorize and organize your contacts. So as you can see, I've already done a few extras, but the system will supply you with some system assigned categories. So you've got right here in the gray area. So you've got, it looks like they provided A clients, B clients, so kind of using a grading system. There's also past clients, attorneys, other realtors, you know, whatever you have in here. There's 2 pages in my instance. You might have 2 pages as well. Notice the gray ones, you cannot edit, you cannot change the colors or do any of that. But I've gone ahead and add some of my own. So this is where you can get specific to the type of categories you may have. Now you can either add them here, or while you're importing the contacts themselves, you can do all of that. So let's actually take a look. So I've got networking group, you know, maybe it's a specific networking group, or maybe it's the Chamber of Commerce. So what we do is we go up here and we add tags. So for those of you that do things in the network, so we'll say this is my Chamber of Commerce. You're going to come up with your own categories. This could be, you know, a group of other parents when your kids have school activities. It could be whatever you want it to be. So right here, we're going to click where, let's just pick a color. By the way, they added a whole bunch of colors. I want this one to be, let's just say orchid. Looks kind of pink to me though. All right, so we just added that one. So now this tag or category is available for any contact record that I put in, or I can assign it to any contacts that are already in my database. So it's there, it's ready to go unless I ever delete it. So let's kind of keep moving down the row here. Let's talk about offered leads. Now this is really important, everyone. So you will have the opportunity to add 10 zip codes of where you want to receive leads from. This would be receiving re-offers from original Remax listing leads that missed it. So you would be the next person in line. If you signed up for that zip code. It would also be for non-Remax listing leads. And then if anyone just does a general registration and doesn't necessarily ask about a certain listing, but they're searching in your area. So that's what's really important. You've got to make sure you've got these zip codes filled out. In order to be eligible for leads and Remax, you must have at least 1 zip code filled out, but I say fill out all 10. Now, some of you might be in a small town where you don't necessarily have 10 zip codes to pick from. I mean, it's up to you, but do not repeat zip codes. It's not going to make a bit of difference, unfortunately. So if you're in a large metropolitan area or a place where you can add 10 zip codes, take advantage and add 10 zip codes. Cast a wider net, get more leads. If you're in a smaller town and you want to put some zip codes in, and maybe some towns that are an hour or 2 away, even if you wouldn't necessarily go there, just know there's Remax offices everywhere, and you can always get a referral opportunity out of it. So again, throw that net out there, catch more leads, even if it's a little farther out. You never know what could happen. Maybe you'll get a lead for a $5 million listing that's further out, but you never know. So make sure you fill those out. It's really important. This next section, be careful. If you check any of these boxes, you're telling the system, I do not want to get leads from these different categories. So be careful about that. Don't check anything here. Don't limit yourself. This part is equally as important as putting in zip codes. Make sure your cell phone number is filled in here, because this is how you're going to receive leads via text. It needs to be going to the right number. You don't have to do anything like put in your wireless carrier, but make sure, and as it says here, that you've checked off the option to have a text notification. Put the number in here and you're good to go. All right. Let me know if there's any questions or comments. I'm keeping an eye on that, and hopefully let me know that this is going at a good pace and it's easy to follow, or if I need to repeat anything, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, so we're going to keep moving through. Let's talk about contacts and leads. Now that we've done all the notifications, let's go into this section right here. Now, you may not have any contacts in here yet, or maybe you started this, and I hope you have. But let's talk through this. And by the way, there's lots of fantastic videos on Remax University on how to do a lot of these features we're going to talk about. So you don't have to memorize any of this. You can always refer back to this. There's a really good video on how to import contacts. But let's talk through this because this is really important. If you're brand new to real estate, your number one goal is to start reaching out to your sphere of influence. But your sphere of influence is all over the place, meaning they're on your phone, they're on your email, you might have them on a spreadsheet somewhere, you might even have a Rolodex laying around somewhere. So who do you already know? And get everyone consolidated onto one CSV file, get them imported here into booj or enter them manually, whatever works best for you. You want to get all of those into one place. Your database is your greatest asset when it comes to real estate and in general. That is going to be what's going to carry you and build relationships throughout your entire career. So get it all in one place. It's going to make your life a lot easier. So, all right, let's talk through this. And those of you that are coming from other places where you had contacts and you exported them, this is going to apply to you as well. So here's what you do to get started. So we'll just kind of go down the row here. So adding an individual. Now, you may have what's called floor time, where you take turns and you're in shifts and you get the walk-in business that comes in or the call-in business, however your office has it set up. If your office has it set up, it's not required, but some of you do this. Or you meet one person, you meet them standing in line at Starbucks, or you happen to meet them on an airplane and you exchange business cards, or just in general, you'll meet random people and you want to just get them into your database. You want to type their name in. So you want to type them in, and here's the best part. All those tags or categories we already had are here. You know, and this is also where you can enter open house leads. Let's say that you just had, maybe an open house, whether if you can't import them, maybe you had 7 visitors and you just want to type them in manually, that's what you do. So you go through that process of adding them. And in this case, we get a lot of questions on this, but is this a lead or a contact? Technically, it's a lead because you haven't started the initial process of working with them, taking them through all the steps, showing them homes. It's still considered a lead, but then once you develop that relationship and start working with them, it becomes a contact. But ultimately, guess what? This is your database. You can decide what's a lead and what's a contact, or not even use this at all. But going in, you have to choose one of these two. Enter their information here, which works out really great, and then you click add. So that's simple enough. Let's talk about importing lists. So those of you that are coming from other real estate companies, or maybe you have in the last 6 months and you're just watching this video, or whatever the case is, there's really popular industry CRMs, client relationship management programs, that are out there that Remax and booj have partnered up with to make sure that you can bring those contacts into the booj platform. Right here under previous system, this is where that list is. So some of the most popular ones that are out there are listed right here. So all you have to do is you choose one of them, and this is going to ask you to go through the steps of logging into your top producer, like in this instance, and bring those contacts over into booj. And it makes it so much easier for you, and it's fantastic. So as it gives you instructions here on each platform, this is great. See, it gives you a little spreadsheet and it tells you exactly what to do in that platform. So if we choose, let's choose a different one, Referral Maker, which is Brian Buffini's. Doesn't have the same cool little window that pops up, but it will walk you through it. The other thing you can do is import. You can take an entire database and export it from anywhere. Gmail, your MLS contacts. Don't forget about those of you that have contacts on the back end of the MLS. Export those from there. Export them from your iPhone and get them into this platform. So how you do that is get them into a CSV file, and then you actually click the file to upload. So it'll look for something on your desktop here. So let's say we'll walk through one together. I'll just grab this one. And then I click next. By the way, again, there's videos on Remax University on how to do this. Now notice this is telling me these are the fields that we have read on this spreadsheet. Do you want to confirm that you're bringing those in? So in this case, I've got them all checked off. All I have is a first name, last name, email. So maybe, hopefully you have more than that. So what we want to do is it's going to import it automatically by today's date. So it'll say create a date, today's date. previous system name. So let's say this is coming from an external platform, you know, again, maybe it's the MLS or something like that. Or if I grab these from Top Producer, one of my other programs. So you don't have to do the auto sync. You could also do a manual import from those platforms. You can also add additional tags. Let's say that this was my golf outing, or maybe I know golf outings aren't typically happening right now, but in a normal environment, maybe you had an event, maybe it was a client appreciation event. So in this case, you know, if you don't have that tag here already, or you could just say this was our Halloween party, Halloween event, and then you hit enter. So not only is it a tag that will go along with this import, but that tag exists permanently for me to use in the future for other similar contacts. So when I click import, it's going to now ask me to confirm what exactly I'm trying to do. So it looks like I've got quite a few on here. So the Halloween event, and I'm going to click import. So it's going to click done. Now all this does is this imports contacts into your database. And it does this, by the way, it will take duplicates, but there's a really cool duplicate or merging tool that you can use in booj. So that may happen if you're importing and exporting from different places and you have people in those different like let's say some of your MLS contacts are already in your phone. That's not uncommon, then that's what will happen. So in this case, what it's doing is it's updating that list. So I may have done a duplicate list. I'm not quite sure. This is my demo account, so I've done a lot of different things to it. But as you can see, it will have these different contacts right here. Now let's say that you just added 3 or 4 people and you forgot to add a category or a tag to them. You can actually search for them by first name or last name. You can also, let's say that's these 3. We'll just click a couple of people here. We'll say 3 people. So you find the 3 people, you can actually select all 3 of them. Notice as soon as you select one of them, you can do a couple of things. This is how you export. You can also do a mass assign of a tag. So I just imported 20 people and I forgot to mark them as my golf outing. So I can click add tag and mass tag them as golf outing or whatever it is you want to do. When we get more detail, we won't have time today, but you can actually apply task plans. You can do different things with these. This is called batching or contact batching. And that works out really good. If you want to export all of your contacts all at once, you just select all. And then right here, it says only the ones on this page are selected. If I want to select all 1,200 of mine, then I do that. And then I click export, and it's going to then export them into a CSV file for me. So some of you like to do that, especially I just heard that everyone's going to be sending a lot more holiday cards now than ever before. If you want to do mailing labels and actually send out holiday cards, then there you go. You can export them and do them from that perspective. So, okay, let me know if there's anything else I need to cover in that area, but let's go ahead and keep moving along because there's a lot to cover here. So we talked about contacts. Here's the next step. How else do you get contacts in here? You can sync them. What do I mean by sync? You can actually sync with your Gmail contacts or your Outlook contacts. And guess what? This is a two-way sync. So this is going to make your lives a lot easier. For those of you using Gmail or Google Contacts, those of you using Outlook, you can't do both, but you can choose one or the other. So I highly recommend you do this. And again, it's two-way. So when you're adding one on one side, it's going to get synced to the other and you're good to go. So that might save a lot of manual work for you down the road, which sounds amazing, right? So that you can get back to doing what you do best, selling and real estate and working with your clients, but instead of sitting behind the computer. So I know that's what the ultimate goal is. While we're in this page, let me show you how I got to this page, by the way. You go to settings and you go to settings pages, and then you go to system. So if you need to get to this, this is where you get it. In here is a couple of things to talk about. Now, I had mentioned earlier that I was going to tell you how to get leads from other platforms besides remax.com and the booj office team or agent websites into this account, into this database. You can actually integrate, if you are buying leads and receiving leads from any of these 3 lead parsers, you can connect them directly to your booj account. So follow the steps and the instructions, but this will bring these over into your booj account. It does not stop progress on the other side. You'll still get those lead alerts, and anything that happens there on that side, such as reports or whatever, will still happen. What this is going to do, though, again, is to eliminate the manual entry, which is awesome. Now you can also integrate your bombbomb account. So if you have, this is a subscription, so it does cost, and we do have preferred pricing here at Remax. So check that out, or contact bombbomb.com and let them know you're remax. They'll go through the pricing with you. This is video, email, and messages and templates. It's just lots of great things. But what this means is you can email contacts out of booj, and it will have access to your video library that you've already recorded in booj. And you can pull those videos in and send those out of the booj email here, which is great. And again, it's a great way to kind of start bringing everything all into one place. So booj's ultimate objective is to make it a one-stop shop for you. Now, that's going to be a little difficult, like the MLS, you won't be able to access through here. But when it comes to your ancillary tools and partners of Remax, I know that that's what booj really wants to get to. So to try to make it really easy for you. So transaction management. You can connect one of these 3 paperless platforms with your booj account. So it's awesome because what it's going to do is when you connect, say, DocuSign, you're going to be able to set up your deals here inside of booj. You can actually set up deals, buy and list side deals, and you can actually connect it to your DocuSign account. So when you do that, so watch what happens. When I click add deal, I've already synced this with my DocuSign account. So it will ask me, do I want to sync this to a new transaction room? Then I click yes, and it does give me sort of a disclaimer on what's going to happen. So this is actually going to be a one-way sync. They're working on making this a two-way sync, but it's something you should think about doing. There's some really good videos on Remax University about using deals in booj that I think you should take a look at. So when you do that, of course, it's going to be streamline it, make it a lot easier for you to sync up that information. And when you set up a deal, it's going to show you here. It'll actually say right here, it'll say deal not connected to DocuSign. So if I forgot to do one, oops, I better go ahead and connect it. And then I will set it up from there. So those are some of the system integrations that you can use with booj. All right. So we went through how to import contacts. Let's just take a look and make sure we covered everything. I'm going to also show you other ways. So if you have a homes.com or Homes Connect product, you can also do it from there too. But I want to show you how intuitive this platform is. It's really fantastic because it's really searchable. Let's say that you're going to go into a slow period here as we get to the holidays, and you want to start doing some maintenance and maybe more importantly, some targeted marketing to a very specific group or a certain year that you connected with people. When you go into here where it says manage filters, let's say that I want to do a quick search. Here's another thing you might do regularly. Who's having a birthday? And you can actually, now it's got the birthday filter up here, and you change it to, I want this to be from who's having a birthday this month. So we click OK. So from November 1st to November 30th, I may not get any results. I don't know. Probably not, because this is a demo account. When I hit search, this is going to show me, okay, who's having a birthday. So we'll walk through what a client record looks like and what you can do with it. And this will show me anyone that's having a birthday in November. So as I suspected, since it's my demo account, I don't have any results, but it'll show you here. So this is actually going to help you take action if you want to do that. If you want to run a search, you can actually, so if I click reset, it's going to remove that. And it's going to go back here, and it's going to, I can uncheck this. And let's say that I want to search by created date. What's my most recent deal, or excuse me, what's my most recent contact that I put in here? Or do I want to go to a special time frame? You can also use these filters right here, these arrows. So let's say that I hit reset on the filters. I can actually click these arrows to sort. So if I want to see the most recent, so see, that's exactly what I did. When you click the top arrow, when you get a lead that gets texted to you, if you want to jump on the desktop and see even more details about it, then you just click this arrow here, because it won't necessarily be the first one showing on top of your database. You want to click this arrow here to show the most recent, okay? You can also use the filter to search too. But if anytime you do anything with the filters, what else might you search by? Well, we can just take a quick look. Maybe I want to search by city. okay? And I don't really have much in the way of actual physical addresses in here. But if I search by cities, this is where I can actually type in, you know, I don't know if I'll have anybody in here, to be honest, but you type in a name. I may or may not have anyone. Can't spell today. So Indianapolis, oops, Minneapolis, wherever you're located. So if you have them, they will show up here. Here's the best part. Instead of having to redo this, do you see over here where it says save or load view? So let's say I want to save this view, and I'm going to change this to just Indianapolis search. Okay, and I'm going to go save view. All right, so now when I come back into my contacts and leads, and I want to get directly to that particular search. So let me refresh this. You'll see, you'll be able to choose that view and it'll take you right to it. So I'm going to go back to contacts and leads. We're going to reset this filter. Okay, and then I go over here where it says save or load view. So see where it says Indianapolis search? So now if I click here, it's going to take me directly to that view and it'll update each time. So it's not like I have to keep rerunning it. Whenever a contact record has Indianapolis in that city field, it will pull up. So it's pretty cool actually. So I would encourage you to really play around with these filters and really make the database work the way you want it to work. Inside of the contact record, it's really important that you pay attention to what is going on inside of there, because again, the information in a client relationship management system is only as good as what you put into it. So we're going to refresh this and I'm going to update these filters again. So reset. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to jump into one particular person. So we'll do this one. And okay, so inside of here, there's lots of details that you should really learn and pay attention to. Before I forget though, I want to show you, remember I mentioned I'd show you how to transfer a contact to another Remax agent or to share it. If you go over here inside, you have to go inside of the contact record and you click on actions and then you click send. Right here, you can now search for an agent. So you can type in any Remax agent in the entire US, doesn't matter what state, and they'll pop up here. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. So I happen to know an agent in Texas, and her name is Renee. And I type her name in right here, and there she is. So let's say that you've connected with someone on Max Center, you've set up a referral. The next and final step is to share this contact person with that agent. So when you find this person, like in this case, it's a referral. So it says sends a copy of the contact's information to the receiving agent. So Renee would get a copy of this contact. However, this contact remains in my database also, so it's not completely gone. If you want to transfer it, it will completely be removed from your CRM and be in theirs only. Now, the only instance you might want to do that is maybe a team leader. You're sending leads to your team. They're out of your database, they're in theirs, they're theirs for life, right? It could also be a situation where, as I mentioned earlier, this is where it's too far of an area for you to go to, but you got the lead because you put that zip code in, you get a referral fee out of it, but you're going to transfer it because this is not a person you'll be working with long-term, they're out of your area. So those are just a couple of examples where you might use transfer. It never hurts to have everyone that you've touched in your database, so referral could be a good default every time. Okay, so this is something you can do. Or again, if you transfer, let's say that you're super busy, you have a ton of listings and there's 8 brand new agents in your office that want some leads and you want help, then you could transfer it to them. That becomes their buyer for life and you've worked something out with them. That could be another potential opportunity. Okay, inside of the contact record, I want you to pay attention to what's going on inside of here. So we won't have time to get into tasks or activities. Under details, this is important because this is everything about them. This is their address. You can even add their social media profiles. So if you click right here, add social media profile, which one? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, again, no TikTok or Snapchat. You can add their social profiles in here and it will drop the little icon in here so that you can click here. Let's say you get a birthday notification and you click on their Facebook profile and that's located right inside here, makes it easy for you, and you just type happy birthday on their timeline. So there's different ways to use this. You can also, when it comes to preferences in marketing, how often they want to be contacted, important dates, this could ultimately be associated with certain situations, like obviously birthday and anniversary and something more custom. Maybe they started a new job and you could put their work anniversary date, something like that. Custom fields. So this is where you can get really hyper local or hyper specific with information about them. This is where you can have like, what is their timing? What are their pets' names, kids' names, and just get even more. The more information you have about your clients, the greater rapport you can build with them, and also show that you're paying attention and taking notes. Their timing could be right here. It's 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90. When you use these custom fields, you can then, run information and search for them based on their timing. Status, referrals, if that's what they do. If there's a connection, this would be potentially a spouse or co-buyer. That's what you can do. The inbox is equally important. So an inbox, if you open this, you may see a red number here at times. And what this means is, that means this person has sent you a text message through booj because you've texted them. They've emailed you back through booj if you contacted them that way, whether it's the app or here. They've also filled out a form. Like, let's say that they express interest in a particular listing on remax.com or your agent site, and they typed in that box where it says request more information. Maybe they typed something specific in there. Your inbox is going to be a very valuable tool for you to pay attention to. So when you click on it, this shows all, but let's say there was an email here. A form is actually that form I was talking about. So make sure before you go to respond to a contact to look at the inbox of this contact to see what they've typed in, and it could be a really good guide. And again, show that you're paying attention. The drip campaigns are coming, so that if there is a campaign that's assigned to this contact, it would show here. If there's any deals you've set up that you've associated with this contact, buyer list side, it'll be there. If they have a listing you've associated them with, it would also show here. Search activity. So this is where it gets really interesting, especially if you're the preferred buyer's agent. It would say my affiliation preferred buyer's agent. So this means they chose you. You can actually see what properties they've favorited, what they've hidden. You can even see their search history. This is going to be really good intelligence for you. Now, of course, be careful with that, but you don't have to cite specifics, but you can just let them know your system is keeping you informed that there's what they're looking at, what they're interested in. And then any saved searches. So coming down the road, you'll be able to set up a search for them from this platform, but this is anything they've set up on their own on remax.com or your website or office website. Household, again, could be more family members. If this is an estate sale, maybe you want to group 3 or 4 or 5 individuals together. It could be parents. It could be 2 or 3 generations of a family all clicked as one household and set up. This is just pulling those records together and having that general association. Notes, of course, are pretty self-explanatory. History. The history is important just to see how this record came about in your database. It could show that it came from remax.com. It could say it came from an office website, but this will give you the actual information that you're trying to seek out, just to see the origination of this lead. Okay. Notice over here it says text or email. You can actually text this person from the desktop. So if I click text, this sending number is not my cell phone. I'm going to show you how that was done. So where that's done is up here in your settings. And you have to go over here to settings pages. And you want to go to contacts and leads. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go to inbox. My fault. Okay, let's go back. Settings pages, and then we want to go to inbox. Inbox is where, again, same thing. Do you want to be notified when messages come into your inbox? You definitely should. Email signature, this would be where you can set up your signatures, which would be on anything you send out of booj. Text messaging, right here. Now I've already set this up, but you're going to have an option. You will see to choose a phone number that you want your text messages from booj to appear as when they go out on the other side. Now you can use this from the booj CRM mobile app, or you can text out, or you can actually text directly from this desktop. So it is something you have to set up. It's not required, but it's something good for you to have. Okay. Let's jump over to campaigns, and then I want to finish up with websites because I'm sure you're excited about those. And thanks for staying with me. I really appreciate it. So on the campaigns, just so you know, the Remax is working really hard to get what are really official drip campaigns loaded here into this area for you to start using in an automated way. Meanwhile, though, there's lots of templates in here you can use and send out to your database, such as newsletters. If you change this to 25 results per page, then this is going to give you even more options and more templates to choose from. So we will look at a couple of these. So it's things like home improvement tips, and there's even actually a template for the how to ask for reviews or asking for reviews. First day of winter, so seeing there's holidays and seasons. Let's just take a quick look at the November newsletter. Here's the best part, because again, I don't want you to necessarily feel like you have to sit behind a computer most of your day and then leave no time for you to prospect and work with clients and do what you do best. There's already out of the box content here. So what that means is the marketing team in Denver for Remax International, they've actually already set up each month. They already write, spell check and grammar check a whole newsletter for you. And all you have to do is send it out. So ways to get back this holiday season. Here's some actual really nice bullet points in this area. Ways to add holiday scents to your home. I mean, this is all applicable. Anyone can take advantage of this information. You can edit that content though. If you want to add your own text in, your own photo, I've seen agents even add videos to this, you definitely can. You can even look them up by category if you want to just type in, you know, like I mentioned, the reviews. But all you have to do is really go up here to the top. By the way, when you start sending out your campaigns, there are analytics in here so you can see open rates and click rates. You just have to go in and you click where it says single and you click add campaign. And you're going to name it. So we'll just call this our November campaign. November campaign, or maybe it's the November newsletter. That's what we'll do. We're going to leave it on single. A drip will be activated. Should be by the end of the year. But you can still send out quite a bit of information. So as you can see here, this is where you choose your template. So I'm going to choose my template. Remember from what I just saw. So I'm going to click use this template. And now it's going to open this up. Now, if you've been in your website, this looks very similar. I can actually go in and start editing this text. I can edit the images that are put in here. I can pretty much do most of what I want in here to make this more personal. Now that takes time. And again, if you don't want to put the time in and you want to send something out that's already done, this is perfect for you. So then you just click over here where it says save and continue. And now it's going to have you say who you want to send it to and when. Now, I always recommend that you send a test to yourself. You want to see what it looks like. The preview text and the subject line is entirely up to you on how you want that to appear. You can schedule this. So let's say that you've got some downtime right now, or you set aside some admin time. You can actually choose, I really want this to go out, but I don't want it to go out till, let's say, Friday. So I choose the 20th. I can even choose the time of day. And there's lots of studies on best time to send things out. Maybe it goes out at 8 a.m. It's at one of the first things they get in their inbox. And then you click add recipients. So this is where you click save and schedule. You have to decide who you're sending it to. So this will walk you through some of the basic steps of who you're sending it to. Now, if it's basic, this is going to show you, it could be just a very specific group and you choose them. Remember the Chamber of Commerce people or the business networking group. Smart list is going to be something a little bit more by using tags, or maybe it's a certain zip code that you're sending to. All contacts, that's easy. You can actually set up specific lists that you just want to send information to. Maybe it's clients that have already closed, because newsletters can be a little impersonal and you don't necessarily want to send this to someone you're already working with, because it may seem a little strange if you're in the middle of a deal with them and they're getting newsletters from you, which, you know, some of you might argue that, but at the same time, you just want to be mindful of who you're sending to and what the message is and how personal or impersonal it is. So again, that's what you do. And again, watch the videos on Remax University. They're fantastic on how to do all of that. Let's jump over to our websites. Oh, I'm sorry, really quick. So listing manager, take a look at that. This is where you see all of your listings. And then seller reports can be sent from the reports section, where you can send out a report to your sellers and even talk about it in a listing presentation that talks about the virtual views that your listing is getting, is how you would explain it to them on remax.com or the office or booj websites, office or agent websites. So let's click on website, save the best for last. And you want to click on dashboard because this is how you want to get started. Now remember, way back at the beginning, we said you must have your MLS feed must be showing live on your Max Center profile in order for you to launch your website and have full search or IDX. Now, if you've opened this up and you haven't done this yet, there's a button over here that says publish. Now, if you want to hit publish, you're good to go. You have a website that's already created for you. There's out of the box content that's there. You don't have to do anything. Then you can take your time kind of personalizing it, but turning on your website is a great way to, first of all, then you can start adding it to your profiles. When you turn on your website, you're going to see this URL like showing here on my screen. You will see a URL showing this is your assigned domain name for your website from the Remax system. Now you can add your own custom or personal domain name, and that the support team can help you with that if you don't want to attempt it yourself, but you can add that as well. But this name right here is what the system will assign you. Usually it's your remax.net username .remax.com. So like mine is mhoyt@remax.net. So my website domain is mhoyt.remax.com. Okay, so yours will be the same. So I'm using a test account here, so it's testagent.remax.com. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click right here where it says your domain name. So you have to hit publish first, by the way. So hit publish. Just go ahead and do it, because now you're going to be able to do some of the steps I'm about to show you, because you need to activate your site and make it live. So this is going to show me, now I've played around with this a lot, so I'm almost a little concerned on what it looks like. I'm kidding, of course. So I've done different things just to show in training. But so I have a cover photo. I mean, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have some very basics on here. And as you can see, you can add reviews, you can add your social media integration, that sort of thing. So right here. All right, so you can make it look however you want. You can choose images. There's stock images that are located inside of there. There's just a lot of good options that you can do. But your site is ready to go. Here's what I recommend you do. By the way, I didn't mention this, but all of our tools are optimum using Chrome on your desktop. I'm a Mac user, but I use Chrome as my primary browser. It's what's suited best for the Remax tools and technology is the Google Chrome browser. You may be able to use other browsers, but if you run into any issues where you can't see certain fields or things aren't updating, I would recommend you try using Google Chrome before you put in a ticket, okay? Just a little side note. But in Chrome, what you do is you go up here and you hit the star and bookmark this, so you know how to get to your own website here moving forward, right? Especially if you want to share it and send it to people to search. One thing I want to make very clear, if you are sending people to your website, leads that are generated on your website or inquiries or anything people type in or send to you, those leads come directly to you. It doesn't matter whose listing it is. You will get leads on other Remax agents listings. You will get leads on non-Remax listings. This is your lead generating platform. It's your virtual storefront, okay? So you should have this URL stored. You should have it saved on your phone. You should be able to text that and share that everywhere. So this is what your site looks like. That Remax has already created content. I've done a little bit of customization here, but it's ready to go. Let's talk about what a good website homepage should have, right? So let's click right here where it says, so first of all, where it says change homepage, you're going to have different layouts to choose from. So there should be some between several basic ones that you can choose from. Now I've done a number of customization on mine, so it's got some strange things going on. But you want to choose, the one that I chose is Agent Social Layout. What that is, again, I'm in a demo kind of looking a little bit different than yours, but it will have an image, it'll have a search bar underneath it. If you want to choose a different one, you can. Now, if you switch back and forth between layouts, it removes all your content. So I caution you, be really happy with the one you choose initially, because when you start working on it, if you go back and switch, you're going to have to start over. So Remax is aware of this and looking to resolve that down the road, but that's how it stands right now. So be careful of that. So make sure you choose one that you really like, and you can go from there. So I'm going to leave mine at Agent Social Layout. Where you want to edit this though, you want to go to Edit Agent Social Layout. This looks similar to that newsletter we just opened up, right? So what you're going to see here is you're going to see these different blocks that are available. So I'm going to remove a couple of these because I want to show you. There's really 4 basic things that you should have on your homepage. Number 1, search. That's easy. So there's a search bar located. That's why consumers go there. They want to search for real estate. Number 2, about you. About you is this block called the bio block. So that's this one right here. Now this is where it all comes together, right? So we filled out our Max Center profile. It seemed like a lot of work. It was tedious, but this feeds into this block on your website. So if you don't see it on your website, what you want to do is click where it says add block, and you want to choose the one that says bio. Now you don't have to do anything with it because it will feed over from your Max Center profile. So I've already got that on here. When you try to edit it, you'll notice it'll refer you back to Max Center. So this, you have to go back to Max Center for this. So I'm going to hit the back arrow, but I've got my bio block already here. Photo, picture, everything. See my social media, it's all here. So this is where it all comes full circle. Okay, featured listings should be one of the next things. Now, featured listings will feature your 6 most recent listings. It can also be if you don't have 6 at a time, because a lot of you are markets where the inventory is just selling really fast, you can have a fallback setting to have office listings populate that. So that's easy enough to do too. And before we wrap up, I'm going to show you some finished agent websites that I think are just spectacular. So, so again, choose that. It'll show the 6 most recent listings of yours, or it'll show the office if you don't have enough to fill that block. And like I said, I'm on a demo site, so that's not going to show at the moment. Social media. So the social media page right here. So this can be when you add the social media block. So we mentioned 4 things. Search, about you. The next thing should be featured listings, and then how to get in touch with you. How to get in touch with you should also include social media. So choose the social media block right here. Okay. And I've already got that here. And then you want to click where it says edit. Okay, so you can link this directly to your very own business page. So for some reason, let me go ahead and choose use Remax profile. And what this is going to do, so looks like there's a little error going on here. See, this happens. They've been doing a lot of maintenance on it. But so the Facebook feed will show here and the Twitter feed. Now, if you don't tweet a lot or you're unsure but this is constantly updating. If you don't want to show necessarily that you don't tweet but more than once a week and you're not sure if it's even anything anyone wants to read, I would keep this on using the Remax profile. And you can do this on all of these, where there's a whole team in Denver, a whole social media team that is constantly updating this. You don't have to worry about it. It's there, it's shareable content. But you also want to have some personal touch to this. I would at the very least put your business page in here like I had before. This was the Remax INTEGRA US page. Apparently that box isn't working, and maybe it's just my account. So the Twitter account, same thing. And notice where it says display in your feed. So when you click display feed, that means it'll drop something in here. So see how Pinterest just got added as another feed. Now this looks a little lopsided, so I don't know if I'll necessarily do that, but that's actually pretty new. We never used to be able to display a feed on Pinterest. Looks like they're starting to add more. Instagram. So see, this is all Remax information. But when you start adding them, these icons will populate up here. I have this link to my LinkedIn profile specifically. You could have it go to that, or you can have it go to your office profile, okay? Or Remax. Remax has a profile in all of these. So we're gonna hit Save Changes. And again, here's one thing to remember. When you're doing these website updates, sometimes it takes up to half an hour for them to update in the live environment. So make sure you don't think you broke anything or things aren't working or saving. Sometimes there's a slight delay. So like if I went back to, let's see, if I went back to my site and I refreshed, chances are I'm not going to see those updates that I just did. If I do, it'll be wonderful. Yeah, see, I deleted the review blocks and they're still there, and the social media hasn't updated yet either. So that's pretty normal. Okay. All right, so the last thing is, as I mentioned, how to get in touch with you. So that's this contact form. So you want to add a block, and this is called the contact form. And let's see, hold on a second. Try adding a block. Are they working on the websites in the middle of this training is a very good possibility. Let me refresh this. Stranger things have happened. We're almost done, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging with me. All right. Contact form, there it is. So you would add that, even though I've already done it. And then here's what else you can do with it. So when it opens up, you can actually go in and you can type in what it says at the top of this box. See how it says contact me today? Yours might say contact us or something like that. You could put let's connect. Come up with something that's creative, but that will show up on your website. And then just so you know, you can move these blocks around. If I want my contact form to be above social media, then so be it. So you click here and you move it up. And again, it might take a little bit for it to update, but that's something that you can do too. You can put that block anywhere. So I'm going to exit out of here. That's your home page. You can essentially do unlimited pages on this, everyone. So have fun with your website. There's a lot of different options. Real quick, this website setting is really important. So you go to website and settings, and you click where it says, if there's not enough listings to fill my listings block, fill in from my office. Okay. You can also set up registration where relaxed is where they don't have to register, they can browse freely. If you do restricted, where you put a certain amount of listings in here, once they viewed, in this case, 20 listings, then the website's going to pop up and ask them to register. So what is your magic number? If you think someone has looked at more than 20 listings on your website, that they're definitely a good lead or potentially warm lead, and you can find out how serious they are by having them register or making them register, that's entirely up to you. You don't have to do that. It's completely optional, okay? So I just want to go ahead and wrap up with take some time to look through these different sections. Domain managers, where you can add a custom domain to your website or reach out to support. You can also go to the navigation area. This is the items that show active on your menu, and you can get very creative with this too. But I just want to show you some. You can get very creative and custom with these websites. I'm going to show you a website of someone that's in Minnesota. She may even be watching, but Jim Lee Harris has an amazing website. And this is it's individual agent website. And she's taken time to create and design images outside of the Remax library. And she's done things on what's called Canva. She's also set up, this is called the image text block, where you can set up specific, call out the specific areas you service. Offices will put in like their services. Here's our buying services, our listing services, and different types of things. You can even set up the feature listings block. There's Zillow. Feature listings block, this is what we were looking at before. You can even do something more specific called a save search, where you have condos for sale, waterfront homes for sale. So jot down to check out the save search block where you can do things like that. So that's one of them. Let me show you another one that I have here. I've got quite a few of them bookmarked here. I just want to make sure I'm showing you some good ones. This is one of our agents in Pittsburgh, Kathleen Wansurski.remax.com. That is her domain name. So she's using the assigned domain name, but she's also done some extra work here. And I just want you to understand that they've put work into this. This didn't happen overnight. So it does take time, but this is her little moniker, Kathy W. Sells Pittsburgh. And she's got a really nice paragraph about herself. This is just a common text block, if you're wondering what that is. Featured listings. Now, again, I don't know by looking at this if these are hers or her offices as well, but that's okay. The general consumer doesn't know the difference either. Here's the area information for this particular spotlight, and even more details in through here. Here's her block. So it's really up to you. The homepage does not have to be overcomplicated. Oh, it looks like there's an issue going on. I'm gonna have to screenshot that. But just to let you know, there's lots of options to do different things on here, okay? So I didn't talk about the photos really quick, but if I choose one of these blocks, let's just go back here really quick and I'll show you how to change out the image. So let's change out the image on the home page. So you click edit, and then right here where it says header image, when I get ready to update that image, I'm going to click edit and then click on the image itself. There's actually over 400 stock photos. I've actually uploaded some of my own, and you can actually do that too, but you can also search more for them by category. Let's say that I want to find a picture of a lake. I type this in. It's going to pull up any photo that's labeled with that. The one with the balloon is one of my favorites, but if you want to change it to something like this, it's going to let you insert that image as well, and it shows it here too. Now it gives you dimensions. So if you are going to design images outside of here, this will be a really good guide for you. Then you just click insert. You could also, I'm sure you noticed, you can upload your own right here where it says choose file. So there's tons of photos. You could just, like I said, search by keyword. Maybe I want a picture of a kitchen. If I could spell kitchen, we'd be in good shape. All right, almost done, everyone. Thank you. Kitchen, search. There we go. Okay, so I've got my kitchen pictures. There we go, and we click insert. And then you can come up with your own description, but that's up to you. So I'm going to save that and go back. Again, that'll take about a half hour to update. But it's updated on my preview window, which is nice. So now I can see it and I can see what's going on. All right. So really, I encourage you to take your time with your websites and really have fun with it, but launch it right away. And what's the worst thing that can happen, right? You get a lead off of it, but then start building it to your liking. Remember, 4 key components are search, about you, featured listings, and how to get in touch with you. That makes it super easy. And don't forget to go to Remax University, which is located in Max Center. There are literally dozens and dozens of videos. There's a whole section on booj specifically on using the CRM, using the seller reports, using the campaigns. It's all down here on the left-hand side. And there's even a whole learning track. So if you really want to get more in depth into this and start from A to Z, this was like a really brief overview of it, if you would. But hopefully this was helpful to get you started. So let me know in the chat box or Q&A box if you have any questions. I see some of you watching on Facebook. So hello, those of you watching on Facebook. I would love to hear from you. So let me know that this was helpful. And we will plan to continue these into 2021 to help you get started with booj. Last call for questions, comments, anything. All right, well, I really, really appreciate all of you for hanging with me for this extended version of Quick Start, which is all about booj. So thank you very much. And this was recorded and will be sent out to you. Thanks, everyone. I'm Michelle Hoyt, and I love being your host today.